Hello, and welcome to J1 Visa Consulting, your resource guide to all things J1 Visa related. My name is Avery, and I am an immigration specialist with over 7 years of experience in J1 Visa programming and cultural exchange programs. In this video, I'll be talking all about the Natural Interest Exemption, also known as the NIE. So if you have a question about any of the content in this video, please feel free to leave a comment below or check me out at j1visaconsulting.com. So for now, let's begin. So I'll start with the presidential proclamations. So due to the spread of COVID-19, several presidential proclamations currently suspend and limit entry into the United States for non-US citizens who are physically present in the following countries for the past 14 days. So currently the list is China, Iran, the United Kingdom, Ireland, Brazil, South Africa, India, and all of the European Schengen area. So if you have been in any of these countries in the past 14 days, even potentially just traveling through, or if you currently live there, you are not permitted to enter the United States. So these proclamations don't apply to US citizens, lawful permanent residents, also if you have a green card, that would be that, other family members who meet specified exceptions such as a spouse, an unmarried minor child, parents of US citizens, and certain other armed force members. So what is the NIE? So if you live or have been in one of the countries that I have just mentioned, you will need the National Interest Exemption, or NIE, to enter the United States. So basically the NIE grants you entry as an exemption to the current travel bans, and then the current travel bans would no longer apply to you. So travelers looking to provide vital support, executive direction of critical infrastructure, significant economic activity, journalists, students, and certain academics are covered by exchange programs that may qualify for an NIE. So that means if your entry to the US would be in the national interest and benefit the US in regards to researching COVID-19, providing medical care, potentially humanitarian issues, national security, law enforcement, an NIE will be issued. So how do you get an NIE? So to apply for an NIE, you will need supporting documentation that proves it is in the best US national interest for you to be exempt from the current travel bans and be permitted to enter the United States. So what does that documentation entail? If you are a medical professional, it would be a letter stating what your current work in the United States is. If you're working on researching COVID-19 or working in actual hospitals with clinical care, that would be something that you can provide as well. So you must contact a US consulate or embassy to apply for an NIE. So if you are in the process of starting your visa application, you have not received your visa yet, this can be done while scheduling your visa appointment. So when you're attending your appointment, you would bring all of your supporting documentation, and at that time, an NIE would either be issued or not issued. So you cannot obtain an NIE while you are in the US. You do have to do it outside of the US at a US consulate or embassy. So the consular official will determine if your NIE will be approved or not. So please be aware that NIEs are discretionary. So that means that not all applications will be approved. So here I have some important information about the NIEs. So first and foremost, they are valid for 12 months from the first date of approval and for multiple entries, as long as they are used for the purpose in which they were issued. So that means that if you are now planning on doing a different program than what you originally started in the US as, your current NIE might not be valid. That also means in regards to the multiple entries, you could potentially leave the US and come back, and it would still grant you permission to enter the country, the US. So next, if you are applying for a visa or renewing your visa and you are approved for an NIE, your visa will have a line that states NIE under PP on novel coronavirus. So your information will then be sent to CBP, which is the Customs and Border Protection database. So entry to the United States is at the discretion of the CBP official at the port of entry. So your information should then be in their database, and then they can see that your NIE has either been approved or not approved. So remember to arrive at the airport earlier than normal, just to ensure that all of your documentation is submitted in the correct databases, and make sure that you do have a copy of any of the documentation that you are bringing with you. Next, I have some more important information. So if you are entering the US, please be aware of the ever-changing testing and vaccination requirements. So these do change at the drop of a hat. So make sure that you check and stay up to date on what the actual requirements are before entering and traveling to the United States and booking your flights as well. Failure to do so can cause travel delays and also or denial at the port of entry. And as a reminder, it is always best to apply for your visa or your NIE at a US consulate or an embassy where you have home ties. So that means where you are currently either a citizen or a permanent resident. If you are attending school there, that's perfectly fine as well. I would not recommend that you apply for your visa or your NIE in a country where either you have never traveled to before, you have no home ties, you're not currently living there or studying there. Many consulates and embassies around the world are no longer accepting third country national appointments, so this is very important to keep aware of. So that's all for today's video. I hope this gave you more information on what the NIE is, how to get it, how to apply for it. If you do have a question about any of the content, please feel free to leave a comment below. And if you like this video or did find it helpful, please go ahead to give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel to stay up to date and in the know for all things J-1 visa related. So until next time.